Also, gotta keep the freaky jokes away. Possibly?
Yes.
Question mark? Keep away the freaky jokes?
Yes.
Okay. Oh man.
Alright, I'm
Dang
gonna
it.
mute very quick so I can do my intro and then we will start.
Alright.
Hello, everyone! It's your friendly neighborhood AJ
You gonna
here
give me like a
today.
countdown?
I want to talk about a thing with you guys, and this is with my buddy Unknown. So today we're gonna do a little bit of thing called Loadster Training. This is gonna be a video series of mine that I'm gonna start doing where I'm gonna teach you how to do a Loadster pattern in a VR chat session with your buddies. And you too can do this with us too. Catch me live on Twitch if you want to do a little bit of live stuff. Alright, let's get back into it. Alright, let's go get the helicopter and get ready to go airborne.
Alright.
Alright, first step, get your helicopter. You want to make sure you have your helicopter. It can be any, doesn't matter. The first step
Oh
is
wow.
always get in the helicopter.
Okay, my bad. You're all get in the back seat.
Alright, now, first off, we want to put blade tilt to full. Close canopy. Now, since our canopy is closed, we can start our engine. Now, if you want to take it realistically, you can. But, in this case, we're just here to teach you how to do a loadster pattern. Now, you can either get airborne immediately upon engine start, or wait. Now, I want you to pay attention to the very, like, this kind of square, kind of X thing over at the top of your screen by the G and the M. That is your AOA. You want to use that for basically the whole premise of doing your entirety of your AOA training. Now, when you want to do a loadster pattern, but you're in search mode, you want to go if it's on your left side, if that's for my lefties, it's going to be on your left. For my righties, it's going to be on your right. You want to go to when you want to here. Let's fly out to like right about here and then go full AOA left. Now you're going to see that we're keeping her around the 3 zone. We don't want that. We want to keep her around the 7 to 6 zone, because that's actually how we can prevent her from crashing into the ground, while also keeping a decent distance from the ground and also preventing further incidents. Now, anything higher than 6 and 7, it can spell doom when doing a left turn loadster. Now, I'm going to demonstrate basically a scenario where when you need to use a left turn loadster, but you need to go straight into a right turn to get your door gunner. This is kind of going to be hard to do because we're so close to mountains. But now I just flew over into the loadster pattern, and we're back to our about 4 to 6 range. Now, I don't normally fly this close to mountains and all that. I would normally go to about, I would probably say, like 17,000 feet to keep her about closer to the ground, but a wee bit away from the sky barrier and all that. Because you can do that here. Like I said, keep her around the 4 range. Now, I'm going to say this before you go in the comments and start telling me, oh, AJ, this is not actually how you do it. This is only for VRChat. This is not actual playing advice. You don't actually, I don't think you do this IRL. Or you want to do this IRL. If you're taking this as advice for IRL, you are dead wrong, and you came to the wrong channel. Anyway, though, we are doing about an AOA of 4 to 3. We don't want to be around 3 because this is going to put us in the dirt. I'm going to pull a hard turn right there because I don't want to hit the mountain. But as you can see, we want to keep her around an AOA of about 7 to 6. And we want to make sure she stays around that to prevent further issues. We also want to make sure you keep her around it depends on what you want to do. you can do a 6 to 7, which is basically the basics. Stay around that range if you don't want to die. You can go a little risky and go around the 4 to 3 range. And if you really want to crash, just go to the 2 to 0 range. Now when we're flying, we want to make sure we keep an eye on our fuel, because that's going to matter the most here in this situation. You don't want to run out of fuel, because if you run out of fuel when doing a loadster, it can end badly. Now, as we are actively trying not to crash here, but we're actively keeping her in the air. And as you can see, we're trying to keep her around the 4 range. We're going a little risky here, and we're keeping her around the 4 range. We do not want to go anywhere higher than that, because we want to, not die.
Real.
As you can see there, we died because we were at a very close range. Now, follow me as we're going back in our helicopters. Back in the helicopter, and we're gonna get back in the air. We're gonna try again, just so I can properly demonstrate how to properly do a turn like that. Now, we're doing the things a little differently. Instead of starting the engine, we're waiting for my buddy to get in. But I want to tell you that this video is not sponsored. None of my videos are ever sponsored, because nobody wants to ever sponsor a VTuber like me. But I want to say, if you really want to have a good time, play VRChat. If you want to have a worse time, play Roblox. Anyway, though, as you can see, when we get airborne, you will see that our AOA immediately spikes up. Now, there's a whole section over by spawn, or any world that actually has a helicopter in it. There will be a spawn menu, and it will basically tell you everything I've just told you now, but with a little extra on there, just to tell you the basics, how to get airborne and all that. But overall, you can see that we're keeping her on an AOA of 5, and overall, she's staying in the air, not dead, and it's still following the simple requirements of the area. Now you can see that we're about to hit a mountain. That's okay. You can pull a hard right or a hard left, and go right back into your left or right turn. Now, I want to make sure that all users are having a great time. And when you're flying, you want to make sure that you're staying at a decent range. That can be around 3 to 4 to heck, even 10 if you really want to stay out, if you don't want to hit the ground. But I say 6 to 7 is the recommended if you really want to keep the turn, but you don't, and you really want to stay low. I don't know about altitude wise, like we're at 3,600 right now. I think that's our ground speed compared to the aerial speed. We're like 304 something odd feet off the ground. But overall, we're keeping a decent distance away from the ground, also providing a decent amount of air support for the ground forces on the ground. Now, I've talked a lot, so I'm gonna let my buddy Known here talk for you guys.
Well, I don't really know what much to talk about, but honestly, sitting here watching you fly really close to the ground has really scared me a lot. Because I am a very motion sick person. But that's alright, because I trust my friend here that he won't kill us both in a very fiery and painful death.
That is right.
E-death, might I add. Holy man.
Now, as you can see, we are at a decent AOA. Am I correct?
Yeah, we are. That's true.
Now, as we are still flying at this decent AOA, we want to make sure we don't do any crazy tricks while we're this low to the ground, because that can lead to
like a barrel roll.
For example, only trained pilots can actually do a proper barrel roll at this decent altitude. Now,
like ourselves.
Yep. We're trained pilots and we actually know how to properly fly a helicopter at a decent altitude. We'll also be able to do a little bit of aerial tricks. It is not recommended you do this when you first fly a helicopter. This is also a recommendation for please be careful when flying helicopters at a very fast speed and doing too many tricks. It can lead to motion sickness and or VR sickness. It does not feel good, trust me. I've had my fair share of VR sickness instances, and it's not good. Alright. Now, we're going to do a couple of tricks just to give the audience a little bit of their what to do and how to do it. Now, as you can see, we're going really fast to the ground. That was because we were going nosedive basically into a level flight and then back into a loadster pattern. Now, most of
helicopters aren't supposed to do that.
Yes, but unfortunately, we're able to do it because this is VRChat. But in real life, like I said earlier, this is not real life.
Don't do a backflip in a helicopter.
Yeah, don't do this unless you're Red
You
Bull.
will die. Yes.
Red Bull gives
or
you
that. Or if you hate your life.
Yes. But please do not do this under any circumstance in real life. This is not real life in any case. This features some real vehicles, but only for the cases of today's video being helicopter training. That we will only tell you we're only telling you this because we are trying to provide a decent educational video for those who are wondering how to fly a helicopter and or doing aerial load steering in proper area. Alright, well, should we land?
We should. Yeah, we sure should.
Yeah, we probably should.
Yeah.
Now, when coming to landing, you probably want to go a little lower to the ground, but keep your throttle about half the collective normal throttle, because what we're about to land is I'm going to show you what I meant by the tutorial area. This is basically for those who do not want to watch this video but still want to have the ability to know how to fly. And as you can see here, we're gonna pull a little bit of G's, but not too much because we're gonna die if we do that. I'm gonna turn off our blade tilt completely because this is kind of how we properly do it. And there we go.
AJ, should we be hitting the ground so erratically?
No. But we're not gonna go right off to the bat because, as you can see, this is your overall thing. You want to come over here on this side, and as you can see, this is for all those, and basically this is avatar flight, obviously trigger space, and then all that. Okay, now this is basics. Entering video, stand next to the seat, click your left mouse button or right mouse button for those who are left-handed. But please follow these basic guides to help you for your basic needs. Now, this is where it gets fun. This is the part you may want to pay attention to. This part will tell you how to properly get into the area and or in the air with a helicopter. Now, I would have a couple actual pilots come in, but I don't actually have friends that are actual pilots. So, in this case, we are only going based off of VRChat flight. This is not real pilot advice. I swear to God, if you think it is, leave the video. Now, here's the part where a lot of people get confused because they don't know what all this is. Now, this is basically your function dial. This tells you how to brake, launch off boats and or get airborne through others, canopy, altitude hold, cruise, flight limits, flares, and obviously some vehicles actually have a hook on them. Now, a lot of worlds do I already have a preset for it to put these in. But for example, let's just do a, let's just say, for example, you're wanting to fly a helicopter, but you want to also fly a plane. Switching in between those two vehicles is going to feel like you are going to have a hard time to do any of it. It is recommended if you want to fly a plane, do it. It's probably recommended you do that first and then go into helicopter flight afterwards. Because going straight into helicopter flight can be hard transitioning into plane flight. And it's hard, trust me, but it will help you in the long run. Now, as you can see, we have our active. This is basically your single click, your mission flares, basically flare, all that stuff. This is all your stuff. Single click actions. Toggle, like your flight limits, altitude hold, canopy, gear, flaps, hook, smoke, cruise, engine start. And you need to double click for the engine start to stop. And basically hold down your brake, your gun, all that. Now, a catapult. You pull up onto the catapult, you'll hear a locking mechanism, basically your front wheel connecting with the catapult. Now, for PC players that are using keyboard and mouse, I recommend you use C. C is so you can launch off the catapult and get airborne. Here's where stuff is about to get really technical and really complicated. For a lot of players, Shift any F key will put your left hand on desktop to basically do gestures. But you can also, if you have a controller, right bumper is to basically pull up your gesture wheel and all that. And it's kind of weird to say this, but you try, and if you aren't able to do it, don't worry. Now, enough with all the VRChat talk. Let's get back into the things. Our air-to-air missiles. In its name, you launch the missile out to another target that is in the air. AGM is air-to-ground missile, a missile that is designed to hit ground targets, mostly referably to the Hellfire Mark IIs and basically all those cool little missiles. Now, we're gonna move on to our smoke. Smoke is basically your it's just your color thing. It's basically a customizational thing to basically tell other players.
Your trail.
A lot of groups actually make it to where it's a signal of defeat and or signal of surrender. Basically, you pop smoke, and if you do acrobatics, it looks cool. It's just a decorative thing.
Very
cool. This is your HUD. Your HUD will tell you, obviously this is in knots, but we're going to say this is in miles an hour. Now, this is your target cruise speed. This is your actual airspeed. Remember these, because these will tell you what you're actually flying at. Now, as I was saying earlier, this is your angle of attack. You want to use this if you really want to fly at a decent angle. Like I said, like we were doing earlier with the helicopter, we're flying at a decent angle of attack and keeping her at a decent pitch to prevent further issues. Now, this is your Mach speed, this is your current Gs, this is your max Gs, this is your active air-to-air missiles, air-to-grounds, and bombs. Now, bombs, some aircraft have them, some don't. Preferably, I recommend you grab worlds that actually do, because it's gonna tell you what to do. But if you want to pause the video and read all of this without me talking, go ahead, do that. But right now, let's continue on to the next page.
Next page.
Now, basic flight, obviously shift, control, WASD, or arrow keys, QE and T. Now, enters to exit your vehicle. This changes depending on what device you're running. For me, I'm running on PC with keyboard and mouse, which means all these controls are set up for me. He's on Meta Quest, which means he will have either controllers, which means he will have basically all the default controller settings and all that. But overall, recommended you just do a lot of things. Now, it says VTOL, but it can also be your blade tilt and other options, but mostly that's how you decrease and all that. Now here's your functions: B for brake, Z for canopy, G for landing gear, F for flaps, not for flares, because yeah, and X for flares, H for hook, catapult for C, F backspace for engine start, F1 to front flight limits, F2 to outhold, and then now F3 to cruise. Now when you F2, it basically locks your controls. You are not able to actually fly the helicopter or plane. But on Quest, this changes because you actually are able to fly it normally. You just gotta know how to do it. Now we're gonna come over here to selectable functions. Also, remember to press space to activate. All right. One for your main gun. This is a lot of planes don't actually have this, but you can actually just select your main gun, press space, and or just select trigger. Select over to the gun option and pull the uppermost trigger on your Quest controller. And it's probably different for Valve. I don't know what it is on Valve. Sorry for those who are taking this for Valve advice. I'm sorry. But 2 is your AAMs. Basically, just that. Select over, same way.
Air
Wait
missiles.
for a lock. Wait for a lock in order to shoot a person down. Now, your AGM. I just nearly said ATGM. But, AGM. That, you click
Ground
once, then you click again to fire. Because when you click once, that's locking the target. When you click again, it fires the missile. Your bomb, obviously select it, fire it. Simple. 5 is for your smoke. Now we go over here, which I actually didn't know this before recording this video, but 7, 8, 9 on your numpad, which I will have to fucking numpad lock and kind of just do all that. But yeah, that's cool. Now we got our cruise speed equals and dash is basically how you do it. And that's basically the whole tutorial for those who are willing to do it. Now, you can take a screenshot and save this on your phone, or you can come into the game itself and grab and look at these controls yourself and remember them, because these will come important. That is today's video on how to fly in VRChat. Thank you for watching, and thank you for coming to my channel. Have a nice day, and you all enjoy the rest of your lives.